Oh, good. We're going down to Melbourne next week. Oh, no, not next week.
Tomorrow, mate. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
It is exciting, isn't it, Charlie?
Is this the start of the show?
I reckon. Yeah. Yeah, let's keep it a start. Yeah,
Okay.
let's just,
right,
let's start the show.
All right,
yeah,
away
going
you
down
go.
to, well, obviously we're on midweek matters. Our listeners know that by now. We're here for the bye round. Also, one thing that we have been talking about, speaking to a friend, and he didn't realise we were independent. So, we're an independent podcast. So all your likes, comments, notifications, all that jazz really does help, doesn't it?
It does, man. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad that someone outside the podcast telling you that has made you say it, because we've been saying for years, mate, it's really important people subscribe. It's really important that people comment, give us a review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you do it, because it makes a huge difference to the future of the podcast,
Well, it
all
makes
that sort of stuff. But I'm glad that a random friend has told you that and you thought, I better say that now.
Business person. It makes a difference, not just to us, but to you, our fans, our listeners.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're a business, I mean customers, but I don't want to label our people as customers. They're consumers.
Yeah, well, we don't really charge anything. So they're not really customers, are they? Because we're not charging anything to listen.
No, exactly.
It's free content, free for all.
Please do that. It does help support the show in numerous ways and support your future viewing quality.
Exactly right, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Well, speaking of people listening, the message of the week this week.
Are we going to go? Yeah, all right.
It's a great one, actually, this week. It's from Brad. So Brad emailed in. If you want to ask a question of Jimmy at any point, you want to email the show, you can do it whenever you want. You can comment on Spotify. You can do it that way. But the email is thebuyround@gmail.com. All the social media handles are at thebuyround. But Brad emailed this one in. He said, we've had 0 coaches sacked in 2025 so far. During last season, the Eels and the Rabbitohs sacked their coaches mid-season. He's wrote in brackets, Kevy was sacked postseason. Which team is in a better spot moving forward? Is it the Bunnies or the Parramatta Eels, Jimmy?
Ooh. That's it. I think you instinctively go Bunnies.
Really? I'm the opposite.
Really?
I think Parramatta you'd instinctively go.
Nah, Bunnies.
Why is that then?
One, they're a bigger club. I want to see them injury free, and I think obviously people go, let's try out Cody, but their best player Cam Murray has been missing the whole season, the whole year. They're light on middles anyway, and we forget how good he is. We've been denied witnessing him play for South and for New South Wales this year. We forget we have short memories in the game. He is one hell of a middle forward in some hot competition, and he rises to the top on multiple occasions. So
Moses has only played a handful of games for South at the same point. He's played, 9 games, I think, something like that this year.
That is true, Charlie, but I just think, look, Parra had that big year in 22 or 21, was it, where they made the grand final. They're on a clear rebuild, but I think they've still got some work to do. It obviously hinges on Moses being in the team. Not through fortune, but by luck, arguably one of the biggest benefactors of a recruitment decision that went against them in terms of losing Dylan Brown. I think that has taken off a 5'8" who was on a very, very good deal for a long, long time out of the equation. That helps them spend some money on other areas of concern and blood some young players. I think they benefited from that. But when I look ahead, I think Souths will be in slightly better shape. But that's a great question. From Brad. Well done, Brad.
Cody does turn 36 in January, Jimmy, though, as well.
Yeah, well, they've got some
aging players. They've got a lack of middles. It's great they got Cody Walker. It's great they got Cam Murray. Latrell Mitchell can't stay in the paddock the last couple of years, unfortunately, due to injuries and suspensions and the like.
When you mentioned that their halves is a big area of concern, with Cody likely only 1 year of football left, they're going to need a 6 and a 7.
Personally, I think Parramatta Eels have the much, much brighter future. Isaiah Yongi, he's young.
Sorry, just quickly on South, I think one player in particular, and I know obviously he comes on the show each and every week, but we sort of forget how good Cheese can be.
Can't wait to see him play this weekend.
He's got to get back to his best, but like he's a weapon.
Yeah,
like he is like up there in the top 2 or 3 nines in the comp.
Yeah,
on his day,
100%. Dalian Hooker of the year,
so
Premiership winner, elite player.
Mm.
But Yongi's played 18 games, Jimmy. Josh Papali would have played under 10 games.
Mm.
Mitchell Mose is the best halfback, or one of the best halfbacks in the comp, probably after Nathan Cleary. Jerome Hughes, they're the big 3. You can sort of rank them however you like. They've got Talon De Silva, who's just come in, one of the best young hookers in the game. They've got forwards like Kitione Kartonga, who are showing a lot of potential. Tuivasa looks like a good young player.
Jack Williams
is playing well for them. And they've got money to spend, a lot of money. South's cap is pretty tight next couple of years. I mean, and also Jason Riles is arguably one of the best young coaches in the game as well.
Charlie, you know what? I've changed my mind. You've convinced me.
Yeah. Well, what a start to the show.
Well done. Yeah.
What a start to the show.
When you address it all up and you give it a deeper think, I think you could be right. I think Parra probably would be more optimistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us know in the show notes what you think. That's a brilliant question from Brad.
Brad, great email.
And there's pros and cons for both approaches. Like what you maybe forget is the shadow of the 80s and Parra. Can they get over that? But maybe this new crop can. But will that shadow get darker as success maybe comes their way?
Potentially. It's good to talk coaches as well off the top. I actually listened to a podcast the other day, Dylan Friends, which is he does a lot of interview shows. He's an ex-AFL player, but he interviews people across like all different sports and business and that type of stuff. He had Frank Ponisi on, and Frank Ponisi spoke about his journey. And he obviously, I didn't realize it started out wanting to be a head coach, started out in coaching, wanting to be a coach. And I just thought, I wonder if any club, like he might have zero interest in doing this, by the way, but I wonder if any club would go, hey, Frank Ponisi, could he come and get some assistants who have been in the nitty-gritty of coaching the last few years, get good assistants around him and be like the godfather, the overseer and coach, not necessarily, on the field, but he's a guy who knows about performance. He knows how to build teams. He knows how to build winning cultures. If I was a club, I'd maybe have a conversation with him if I was looking for a coach.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I guess his name has never been mentioned before, but he'd probably be in the same category as like a risky play, and obviously very much outside the box, like the Walker brothers. Frank Ponisi, that comes from a very different background, but that's not to say a background that couldn't and wouldn't work. When I think about the great coach of Sir Alex Ferguson, and he wasn't a coach, he was a manager of people, and he had like technical coaches alongside, working more hands-on with the players. He wasn't a hands-on guy. He was, in fact, I'm pretty sure I heard or read that he would not speak to the group for the majority of the week, and then on game day or the day before the game, it was the fresh voice again.
I think he would change it up. It would depend. He'd look at the side, and he was the best at knowing what every player needed and knowing what the group needed. But you're right. Sometimes he would spend a whole week not communicating, and then he'd make the game day speech. Yeah,
and obviously it worked, and the success speaks for itself. Probably in the same category, as a Ponisi would be like a Michael Checker or an Eddie Jones, someone from a different sport that has links to rugby league, where there's a huge a lot of appeal, but then I think a lot of clubs when they move on their coach, or they go for a new coach, they play it safe. And I mean, the CEOs, the boards, the general manager of football, whoever it is that makes that call, or whoever is accountable, they want it to be safe. Because if you bring in Ponisi and it doesn't work, those people that made that appointment are gone. Same if you bring in Eddie Jones, same if you bring in Michael Checker. If you bring one of those two in, if you bring in the Walker brothers, if that doesn't work, you're gone. So,
but if Ponisi didn't work as a coach, well, then you've got him in your organisation. Then you go, well, mate, can you be our general manager of football? This hasn't necessarily worked. Ponisi would know it wouldn't work if it wasn't working himself, and he'd be able to handle it.
He's the safer of those. Just get him in the building. Sometimes when you're an organisation, get certain people in the building.
And that could be the offer to him. It's like, hey, this is a 3-year deal, and then you've got an option in your favour at the end of it to become a general manager of football, or keep coaching.
He'd be on a very good...
He is.
You know what? Maybe that we don't know. Maybe he's the succession plan.
No, well, apparently he's not.
Apparently, what do you mean? Apparently,
so Brett. So I asked Reedy about it because Reedy and him are close. Brett Reed, that is, and he said that that ship has sailed a long time ago. So he obviously, but that's not a no.
Yeah,
that's people probably don't think about me anymore. Than anything.
Sometimes ships need to come back to
exactly. He was offered, I think, a job at one of the AFL sides to be their general manager of football. He rejected that. Gus Gould's on about $1 million a year for his role at Canterbury, which is a similar role. And I think Frank Ponisi is one of the higher paid people in that role. Probably not $1 million, but probably close to $1 million a year. So he's on good freight there.
And rightly so.
But incredible podcast if you want to listen to about like some guy in that position, which marries up business, sport, performance. Yeah, it's a really good listen. It was a good interview actually.
Yeah, but it's an interesting one with coaches and obviously, Brad. No coaches sacked yet.
We're getting there though, Brad.
Yeah,
we're getting there. North Queensland Cowboys. That's getting close potentially.
I think I said this is one of my predictions for the year that no coaches would be sacked.
It was, at the start of the season. It was,
and obviously a lot of rumor and talk about Hasler. I often think as well with coaches coming in, like a lot of focus this time has been on the rookie coaches that are waiting in the wings, as opposed to like I guess you Brad Arthur, you Jason Demetrio, Kevy Walters. I mean, they've been spoken about a bit, but the more favourable options, like when we think of Manly, they're linked with Innes. A lot of talk about Josh Hannay, a lot of talk about why can't I think of
Adam O'Brien?
No, in Hull KR.
Oh, Willie Peters.
Sorry, yeah. Adam O'Brien obviously under the pump, but the people that are being talked about replacing these current coaches are rookie coaches. I know some more experienced names have been mentioned, but generally speaking, it's like, who's Josh Hannay going to take? He's going to have the pick of the bunch, rather than there was almost that domino effect where someone needs to move first, otherwise you'll miss Josh Hannay.
Well, the clear best job though, Jimmy, is the Cowboys.
That's how it on the surface it looks that way.
Yeah,
and I use that word specifically on the surface because you don't know what is going on there. I don't know around roster makeup, but if you were looking purely at roster, but with that also comes a level of expectation of a quick turnaround, and we're probably being a tad disrespectful to Todd Payton. That I think will be he should be coaching that side next year. But let's just say it doesn't work. It's natural that he'll come under the spotlight, under the microscope, and likely be moved on. And those teams that are in a not too dissimilar situation, like the Newcastle Knights, like the Gold Coast Titans, I think if you were looking, you would say that the Cowboys are a more attractive option in terms of roster as it stands. But again, similar to what has happened at Broncos, the job description is you don't get to build anything here, you don't get to lay foundations. We've got what it takes to be in the 4. With the Cowboys, you would say we've got what it takes to be in the 8, so you better move quick. That's the job description.
But also, mate, in Townsville, there's not as much pressure as well as being a coach in Sydney. So you do get, like, even right now, if what the Cowboys were doing was a club in Sydney or Brisbane, the pressure would be immense. It would be immense.
It would be. But again, I think I've said this before, Charlie, around Canberra's attitude towards Ricky Stewart when they faced some turbulence, that they stuck by Ricky Stewart because he's in a better position to manage the change. And I think
but Todd Payton isn't a Ricky Stewart. Though. Ricky Stewart's club legend, been a coach there for a long time.
I'm aware. Yeah, and there's other elements to Ricky Stewart and why he's successful at Canberra Raiders and the connections that he has at that football club. But I don't think you can discount the fact that nobody knows it better than him. And we're at a time where there was that turbulence, like I say, a lot of other clubs would have moved him on and started again. And I don't think we're seeing the fruits like we're seeing now with what Ricky Stewart has produced in this season. I think if they had moved him on whenever it was where they had their struggles, you're not seeing a quick enough turn. You're not seeing the same turnaround as what we've witnessed here. And that is a lesson to each and every other football club. If you've got those areas of concern to iron out, then maybe it's worth sticking.
The other interesting one is, of course, Des Hasler. Now, the whispers, the murmurs are that the Gold Coast Titans might now be looking out at the market and go, well, there's not really a better coach out there than Des right now, so let's not pull the trigger yet. Let's stick with Des another year. And that's the way it's starting to look. Of course, things could change over the next few weeks, but the Titans have had a couple good weeks, and maybe they're thinking, hey, what's a rookie coach going to do? We need probably someone with a hard-nosed edge. And there is even some of the whispers that I've heard are that the owners were impressed by that spray by Des, and they felt like maybe that intensity was waning off a little bit. And that intensity that he gave them, you look at those players that were in the shower, outside of Dave Fafita, he's been injured, but they played some of their best footy since that spray, some of those guys.
Yeah, so 100%, Charlie. The assessment that the club owners get to do a deep dive, figure out exactly what's going on. Has the coach lost the dressing room, lost the effect? What does this club need? What is it singing out for? Is this man the correct person to improve us, both in performance and results? But again, we know 17 teams. Not every team can play finals, but no doubt, I reckon. You look at them all this year. They would all have legitimate claims to say we're a top 8 side. No, there's probably a handful of them that would say we're top 4, but it's hard to look at a roster that when fully fit, you wouldn't say that is a top 8 side.
The Titans, yeah.
Well, any team. But
on paper,
any team on paper, they would all have legitimate claims to say we're a top 8 side, and that would be the sell to all potential coaches.
Absolutely. The thing the Titans need to sort out is just the spread of their talent. They've got too many guys who are fullbacks really at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But something as well that's interesting is Beau Fermor, Jimmy. So we spoke about last week him wanting out. So he doesn't want out at all. What happened was his manager was reaching out to clubs saying he wanted out to try and get some offers on the table because he's a November 1 guy to present him some options. But Beau Fermor actually wants to stay at the Gold Coast, and Beau Fermor loves Des. Like you remember at the start of the year, David Fafita wanted his left edge spot, but Des Hasler said, no, you're playing on the right. Beau Fermor's our left edge. So Beau Fermor is not happy about that story coming out. Yeah,
well, I imagine he would be pissed off, and maybe it's about he needs to have a look at his representatives. I think probably for the Titans and the owners, look, we know about this clause that exists, and we know performances haven't been up to scratch for the overwhelming majority of the season, but there has been a reaction, especially since that spray. How long will that reaction last for? They've got a big game against South Sydney this week. The owners need to, I reckon, take your Tino, your Keeney, your Fermor, and have some honest conversations with them. Maybe throw Mo Fodawaker in there as well. Kieran Foran's leaving, moving on. Maybe throw in your AJ. If he is part of the club's plans, he's got a very long-term deal. But if he's one of those senior leaders, Des wouldn't like it that they've been taken off site, but you don't need to let him know. But speak to those people, have some, in-depth observations. Just because this clause exists doesn't mean you should enact on it.
Yeah.
So, but again, the same. I think all coaches will present to their boards at the end of the season. Des, obviously, I know how he operates. It would be very thorough and intense presentation. He'll speak about Keanu Keeney. He'll speak about David Fafita. He'll speak about Tino missing for a number of games this year and also just returning from a knee injury. He'll speak about the reaction. Same with Adam O'Brien. His team do the hardest part of the game better than most in terms of the defense. As will Coach Payton. He'll be up there talking about the attack and how the origin period affects them, and they'll all make strong presentations. But I think the heat is on next year, and maybe Des has done enough to save his job.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The other one, Jimmy, Pacific Championships. They're back.
Before we get into that, Charlie,
Yes.
so we had a bit of a feature on the buy round a couple of weeks ago called
Make
Jimmy Laugh, which, again, probably need a bit more encouragement from our listeners to send some things in.
Probably need more promotion from us as well. We just sort of mentioned it once and then never mentioned it again.
Yeah, that's right. But I was watching a video from, we were at the Lions, obviously. Andy Farrell, he speaks to the Lions and he speaks about the boxer Katie Taylor and talks about what it takes to perform under pressure. He gives this motivational speech and Katie Taylor speaks to the Lions and the behind the scenes access, and it's really cool. It got me thinking about.
Forgive my ignorance. Who's Katie Taylor?
She's an Irish boxer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Really like one of the best ever actually in female boxing. So it got me thinking about motivational videos that have been shown over time. Now this particular video, right? I was shown and I was pissing myself laughing, but then at the end it is like, oh my god.
I feel like this is a stitch up.
No, so the video no, it is actually really inspiring. So the video is called the 97 Crawl. I think this is going to be shown on our YouTube, but for those of you listening, just maybe Google the 97 Crawl and
they'll hear the audio.
You'll hear the audio, but it requires the visuals to accompany the video with it. So Tony, I'd just like you to. So this I present and say, look, guys, this happened at an Ironman in 1997, and we join the coverage in the closing stages.
Sean Welch is in a desperate spot. Her body has run out of fuel. No calories to burn. Systems shutting down. The legs are there, you just can't feel them. The eyes still see, but through a gauzy veil of delirium. At this point, Sean Welch is aware of two things. The finish line is so close, and someone is so close behind. After more than 140 miles, it's come down to less than 100 feet to that damn line. Just yards behind, her stalker appears. It's Wendy Ingram.
What's this one style? What's this?
What is this race? Are they?
It's an Ironman. Just keep listening. Just keep listening.
It's like two people leaving a pub racing for a cab.
Look at that run.
Oh no, get up.
They can't, mate. They've got nothing left.
Oh no.
Anyway, just keep listening to this.
That's me getting home after the Lions last weekend.
Just listen to what the commentator says now.
Their bodies were obliterated, but the spirit held firm. Welch and Ingram crawling in the dramatic spirit of Julie Moss. In a battle for 4th place.
I think that's like, but you're laughing at the fault, Matt. I think that's like inspirational that they do that for 4th place. 100%. But I can remember seeing that for the first time, and like when she comes through and she can't walk, and then they're form like almost in hysterics, and then presenting that as like a motivational video about how like you push to the finish line no matter where you're going.
Yeah.
But a real inspiration.
Have you seen the?
But also like, to be honest, when your body like it's funny, but it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when your body shuts down, like I've had my body shut down to an extent, but nothing like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I've never put myself in anywhere near that state. Have you seen the triathletes, the two, the English brothers?
Yes.
Where one of them goes and he gives up the gold to carry his brother over the line. They get silver and bronze in the end. But awesome.
Brownlee brothers, yes.
Yeah. I've obviously done a triathlon, but I didn't end up
not an Ironman.
Not an Ironman, no.
Yeah, you actually finish with a marathon. You do like, I think 140 Ks on the bikes, a ridiculous swim, and then just casual marathon to finish. So
no, screw that. But that was gold, mate. Great to see.
I'm glad it made you
laugh. It looked
laugh.
like two pissed people basically chasing
when
after a cab.
Met with the walk, and she's like using
it's almost like, because it's a bit blurry as well. It's like it's like it's two old people. It's almost like it's two geriatrics racing, like two people in their 90s.
Bless them. Like, but you know what? For 4th place, how good's that?
Yeah.
Like, you're pushing it to your absolute limits.
I always say first the worst, second the best, third the golden eagle, and 4th the princess. So congrats to them.
I don't think that's the phrase.
I think that's the phrase.
That's not what we had in our playground.
What did you?
First the worst, second the best, third the one with the hairy chest, 4th the golden eagle. Don't know what 5th was.
Yeah, 5th probably did get a mention. I'll tell you what though, Pacific Championships, Jimmy.
They're on. They're back. How
they
good?
Look really good. I can't wait for it. The first game that I've sort of circled on my calendar, October 26th. It's a Sunday afternoon game at Suncorp Stadium, 4 p.m. Tonga v Samoa.
Man, how good is that going to be? It should be a sellout. Like,
it will be a sellout. Without question.
The rise of international football, Tonga and Samoa. Look, this is exciting. I think now that the game has been locked in, just here come the announcements about who will be representing both of these nations.
I think the carrot for that game, it's going to be too strong for the Samoan and Tongan players to go to turn their back on Australia and represent Samoa or Tonga, because that will be incredible, mate. Like that is, there will be. It's like they're going to be the pinnacle of international rugby league for them. The contest will be in, the ceremonies around it. Everything will just be so intense. New Zealand obviously involved in the Pacific Championships as well. Like, how can you not? If you have that heritage to Samoa Tonga, how can you not want to compete in that?
And any rugby league fan, and I guess the message to any player thinking about whether or not to choose Australia or Samoa, I'm not on the campaign trail here, but I've played in a lot of big games at some magnificent stadiums, like Wembley Stadium, like 85, 90,000 people, Old Trafford, full to the brim. Played at places more rural, like Nosy Road, where I grew up watching sports. Played, Belmore Oval, all the great stadiums, Suncorp as well. But it's not about the stadium; it's about what those Tongan fans bring. Played the semi-final of the World Cup in 2017 over, I think, in New Zealand. Doesn't matter where it was, the Tongan fans made it. It was the most spine-tingling crowd you have ever been a part of. We were up by 3. We got off to a quick start. They did not stop singing. They did not stop encouraging their team. They had an almighty comeback. And then it was a controversial decision to some extent, although the right one, I think. There was a loose carry from Fafita.
They didn't go upstairs though, did they? They didn't check it.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't check it. Anyway, but I'm thinking oh God, this atmosphere, they're going to be really pissed off and angry. Almost ran over to my family to think, oh shit, because it's going to be on here. They're going to obviously spot that they're not Tongan, because everybody that was Tongan was in red and white. Man, they were so happy. And mate, the atmosphere. I've played, like I say, in some magnificent stadiums with great atmosphere. That is number one, bar none. Played at Anfield.
Yeah.
That was the number one atmosphere I've ever played at. And I think if you're Samoan or Tongan and you're thinking about what is around the corner with the Ashes, which will be great, that heritage match, that Samoa v Tonga up at Suncorp will be sold out. You will never experience a moment like that in your life if you walk out and represent Samoa or Tonga in that fixture. That is going to be something that money cannot buy.
Yeah,
like 100%. And obviously the fans can get there and they can experience that atmosphere, but from a player's perspective, that will be unrivaled.
Absolutely. That World Cup as well you spoke about, that was the Tonga fans, not only did they make that game, they kind of made that World Cup.
Yeah, they did.
As well. It was every game. It was following that journey. So it was the first time that like top players had defected to Tonga for a big tournament or big international game like that. And just it kept building. As the tournament went on, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. I loved it. One
of my favourite photos of my daughter Emerson is she's on a train going to that game, and there's this guy who is head to toe in red with like a little bit of white for the Tongan flag, and he obviously got the traditional dress on, and she's just looking at him just like
enamored.
Yeah, just like why is this man like basically red? Like it's really cool. Actually.
I'm gutted. It's in Brisbane. Obviously, great for anyone who lives in Brisbane. I'm gutted. I was hoping it was going to be in Sydney. Like,
I'm going to be over for the Ashes, which again is going to be great for Australia, England, but Samoa, Tonga, you'll be taking over that day.
Exactly. And now we've talked about, we can reveal that James Graham is just trying to sort of weaken Australia as much as possible so that England can dominate them in the Ashes.
Inside job.
So Pacific Champions, great. Have you got your Premiership Pyramid? Because we obviously did that a couple of weeks ago, and we're revisiting the Premiership Pyramid because there's been a lot that's happened, Jimmy, over the last couple of weeks. There's been some upsets. Storm have obviously lost Jerome Hughes. Penrith Panthers have gone well. The Warriors have fallen off a cliff, unfortunately, due to injuries. The Dogs are shaky. I'm pretty keen to see where you've got everyone now.
Yeah, so on my fourth level, Charlie, it's the three teams that are vying for that one spot, in my opinion. Plus another one which may or may not surprise you. Manly, Dolphins, Roosters, they are fighting their way to even make the 8. I think there's only room for one of them to play finals. That's why they are on the bottom layer. And that bottom layer of 4, they are joined by a team currently sitting in the top 4, the Warriors.
Yeah, I think you've got to put them there at this point. Jimmy, if they lose this weekend and the Broncos win and Penrith Panthers win, and the Sharks win, they'll fall to 7th on the ladder.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that crazy. They've basically got to win one game to make finals, and their run home is soft, but they always lose to the Titans. They play them. Like this game against the Bulldogs on the weekend, they probably will lose that. Like it's getting a bit nervy getting that one extra win for them.
No,
they should make the 8. I'm not saying they're not going to make the 8, but they've got to get one more win.
Yeah, and it's talking of big games this weekend, we're going to preview it in a moment, but Roosters, Dolphins, Roosters have to win.
Yeah.
Or they're the first
team off the pyramid.
But for those 4 sides, Dolphins, obviously they had a big hit with Herbie going. Manly are just like opportunity lost against the Roosters. That could have almost knocked the Roosters out, put Manly in pole position. I still don't know how that plays out, that race for that final spot, but I don't quite know what either of those teams can achieve come finals times. Up to the layer of 3, the Sharks, the Broncos, and the Bulldogs.
Okay. So Sharks have risen a level.
Yeah.
They've gone from the 4th level to the 3rd level. Dogs have fallen down a bit, though.
Yeah, they have. I just think really good win against Manly. Like, so much to like. An off day, maybe. And I also know that you'd put shit on me if I had them in second.
Honestly, but in all honesty, I think that's fair for the Dogs to fall down. There is worrying signs. There are worrying signs. Tracy's out now as well, long term. We're not really sure when he's going to be back.
Well, the reason also the Dogs are there is because there's only room for 2 on the next layer and 1 at the top.
Yeah.
And and I'll go into that.
We'll go on then.
Well, I think Penrith have like catapulted themselves into that spot and into the second level because of who they were and what they've achieved. Like that is an advantage no matter what anybody says. We talk about current form, but their biggest advantage, I think, is in their experience coupled with their current form.
And James, they'll likely make the top 4. Likely. No guarantees. Their run home's tough. No guarantees.
Yeah.
The Sharks have got a soft run home.
To be honest, Charlie, I don't think it matters for Penrith. I really don't. I actually I want to see them finish 5th and do it from outside the 8. I just think it would be the biggest story in a long time. They would, and almost to the point, Charlie, where if Penrith finish outside the 8 and don't, we got to overhaul the finals.
Yeah, finish outside the. Say it again. If they finish outside the 8,
if Penrith finish outside the top 4.
Yeah.
Sorry, my correction. If Penrith finish outside the top 4, and Isaiah Yo's sweet with his shoulder, and they're fully fit, and they don't win the comp, we have to re-examine the final structure.
Well, go back to 1v8.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
but it becomes finishing. If Penrith can't, no one can.
Yeah.
Teams might get hot. We look at that run that Parra went on, the run of the Dogs in 7th, in 14.
Well, in 21, mate, Penrith lost week 1 and still won the comp. They lost week 1. I think it might have even been to the Bunnies, who they ended up beating in the grand final in 2021. I think.
Yeah, so you don't need to win that fit. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But
I think Penrith need to make the top 4 though, because that week off, if they win, so say they come 4th, they go to Canberra week 1. Man, if they win that first week,
the only difference is if you finish in the top 4 and you lose week 1, you've got 3 like do or die games. Yeah. Where if you're 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, you've got 4 do or die games.
Yeah,
and that is a big. It's a big difference.
Yeah, and the week off's massive. The resting your players
potential
during that
for
period.
a week off.
If you get the week off, it's massive. All right, top of the
Canberra are also in that second
level?
in the tree. I'm not taking anything from that Dragons loss. I think that's put to bed. They'll be just fine. Although they'll want to return to winning ways against Manly this week, and then Storm at the top, who they've still got gears in them, which is scary.
Yeah, we're going to Melbourne tomorrow.
Very much looking forward to that.
Which will be great.
Yeah, well, it'll be today for our listeners. We'll be maybe on the plane as you're listening to this.
Exactly, yeah. Enjoy the game. And then, Jimmy, just quickly as well, Tom Trbojevic has moved back to fullback for Manly. Lehigh White is out, so I don't know if this is a long-term Turbo's now switching back, or if it's just Lehigh's out, this is our best option. They've got other options there as well, for Garrick and Tolakula and whatnot, but is it the right move?
I think if Hopoate's still there, you keep it as it was, because we know Tom's ability at fullback, but for me, it's about him being on the field at the moment. And even though he plays right centre, he pops up on the left, and he doesn't have to do anywhere near the amount of defensive workload that he does at fullback, or defensive workload, the kilometres. Like, it's just a different movement pattern. It's a different level of stress on the body. So play him at fullback, you increase the risk of injury, and then therefore he's not on the field. And I think for Manly at the moment, it's about him being on the field. Maybe when it if they make finals, go an all-in push and play him at fullback.
Yeah,
maybe, because maybe that's your secret weapon to launch a finals campaign. But he's, for the time being, him being available for selection is the most important thing. They're running Raiders away, tough. It's Tigers, Dolphins, which again, very consequential game. Dragons and Warriors. We're a situation where I think you need one more win than the Dolphins with 5 games to go. So look, that game against the Dolphins is going to be huge. It really is. But you need minimum 3 wins. Like minimum. So that's
probably 4 as well.
Yeah. I mean, if you win the Dolphins, if you beat the Dolphins, then you probably need 2 from 4. That's like that's obviously you.
Well, the challenge is the Dolphins and the Roosters are going to get a win on each other. So, I mean, in a dream world for Manly, the Roosters beat the Dolphins this weekend, because then that brings them, all be on 10 wins if Manly can somehow pull off an upset against Canberra this weekend, which is probably unlikely. I mean, I think it's going to be hard for Manly, but I think it's going to be hard for the Dolphins as well, because the Dolphins run home.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for them all.
It's just without Herbie, they're such a different team. They are, like, that's a huge loss for them.
No, if they're going to need, as it stands, they're going to need 2 more wins than the Dolphins. So if the Dolphins win 2, Manly are going to need to win 4.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So that it is important that the Roosters get the Dolphins this week. Yeah.
This game this weekend
I said
massive.
The race for the final spot is pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I think the Roosters got the edge now with the injuries to Dolphins and with Manly's form struggles. I think. Yeah.
They went into camp on the Central Coast and obviously come back from that.
Yeah.
Played really well against Manly. Great to see Sam Walker pulling his strings. Like, what a difference to a football side he makes. As much as we've marvelled at Savala and Sandon Smith, Sammy Walker is the man. Like, that kick over for Tupou is like elite.
Class.
Like, not many players can be that quick between the ears.
We started off the show with talking about 2 teams and which future was brighter. Now, I want to ask you this question because there's not a heap of news around. So I thought, what can we talk about today that's a bit interesting to our fans and listeners? And I thought, why don't I ask you the question, which NRL club has the bleakest future currently in the NRL? You look at teams that are on the slide, the Knights, the Tigers are rising now. I think the Tigers probably can't be that team with the bleakest future like it has been the last few years. I mean, they're obviously on 9 wins now so far this season, or 8 wins, so far this season. But Jimmy, which team has the bleakest future?
Charlie, I can't answer it.
Of course you can't, because you're soft. You're soft.
Well, Charlie, which team has the bleakest future? So, obviously, we've spoke about the race for finals there. So that's 10 teams that are in a race that are either going to play finals or in a race for it. So all of them are looking prosperous, right? And then you go back. You got the Dragons next. They'd be in the conversation
for bleakest future for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Despite what Coach Flanagan
and also an aging, like, where's their spine? Gutho's old.
Yeah.
Cook's old. Their halves are questionable. Like, Dragons is not the brightest future. They're also, as a club, struggling to recruit players. They've now hired Daniel Anderson, who can hopefully help them in that regard, but they have struggled to recruit players, and they haven't invested enough into recruitment as well as a club.
Okay, you go down from there, you got the Tigers, and things are looking
up. They've got Jerome Luai.
And young players.
Yeah, correct.
Young players with better futures.
Buller, they've got to try and keep him. I think you saw on the weekend they're probably a different club without him, with him and without him, Jimmy. Jerome Luai, he's going good.
Adam Dewey, sign him up.
Yeah.
After that, you've got the Cowboys, heavy Origin representation, couple of Kiwis and England international in there as well. We spoke about how that is a roster ready to go. You got the Knights after that, where Dylan Brown coming to the football club. If Ponga goes, they're certainly in the conversation, but he said he's going to stay till the end of 27.
Now, Dylan Brown coming to the club, that could be viewed as a positive or a negative thing. Obviously, he's a young player and he's a talented footballer, but a 10-year, $13 million deal is not necessarily a tick in their favour for a bright future.
You can make that assessment, but like I say, they do the hardest part of the game better than most, and Dylan Brown will be the man to take them forward. After the Knights, you've got the Eels. You spoke about how great they're going. Titans after that. clearly some incredibly talented rugby league footballers. We got Tina, we got Mo, we got Keanu Keeney, who we've not seen, Jaden Campbell, AJ Brimson, Beau Fairmore, a lot to like. And then finally, you got South Sydney, and they're a club that have got Wayne Bennett in charge, Latrell Mitchell, Cam Murray, all these great players at their disposal, and one of the biggest names in the game. So there's not a glaring candidate for me.
It's the Dragons or the Knights for me when you go through those reasons.
I think when you look at it on the surface from the outside looking in, you would say those two clubs.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know enough about their juniors coming through as well, either of those clubs. So now, before we preview the round, and it's going to be a great round of footy, I saw that smelling salts have now been banned in the NFL. I saw footage of you the other day sniffing some smelling salts, and I know Jeremy Lattimore used to mess with your smelling salts.
God, don't remind me. Yeah, just looking at a report here. In short, the NFL, and this is all thanks to the ABC, the NFL is banning the use of smelling salts during games, saying the products are not proven to be safe and could also mask signs of concussion. The NRL has for years outlawed the ammonia inhalants as a means of treating potentially concussed players. San Francisco's 49ers wide receiver George Kittle said he used smelling salts before every drive. So that's like on the field use.
Maybe we should get some smelling salts in here and have a little taste of them.
Yeah, we got Jack Connon at we got Taj Burney there from the Lions, a video of him getting stuck into the smelling salt. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, you shouldn't use them for like treatment of concussion, but nobody does anymore. Those days are well and truly gone. But I mean, if you're going to ban them, Jesus, you ban night games because there'd be more evidence to say disruption to circadian rhythm has more health consequences, negative health consequences than the use of smelling salts. Players, we see weightlifters use them. People could argue it's a placebo effect, but there's many things that we do or don't do to our bodies. There's a multitude of things that if you view life through the lens of longevity only and health span only, you don't end up doing very much, or you live a very unique way. Use of banning smelling salts. I mean, yeah, you're going to ban smelling salts. My recommendation is you ban evening games due to the disruption to circadian rhythm and how that is bad for anybody's long-term health prospects. Ask any shift worker.
We'll get some smelling salts in here. Maybe just do them at the start of the show. See if we have better shows. Maybe halfway mark we do them again. See if the second half's better.
Well, the bar's pretty low, Charlie. So
yeah,
I mean,
for you, yeah.
If it gets worse,
yeah, it can't get any worse.
We've hit the bottom of the barrel.
That's right. Now let's preview the round.
Maybe if the bar can't get any lower, like you're putting all the heat at me.
Look at.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't say anything about me being, perfect. I'm definitely not perfect, but I'll try my best.
Yeah.
I definitely. There's something coming this weekend that is. I hope everyone enjoys. We've done the draft of the 21st century, which is a player from every club, 1 to 17. Myself, you, and Buzz Rothfield. I'm not overly happy with my performance. This is post-draft now, reflecting on it. I think I stuffed up. Basically, the rules were it's one player from every club. So even the Dolphins, you had to pick a player from the Dolphins. Once a player's picked, they're off the board. Your opponent can't pick him. It's great fun. It's a great exercise. The team, there's so many great players over the last 25 years. So there's the team that didn't get picked that Tony listed off at the end of it. Like that would probably beat the teams that we did pick. Yeah, my team isn't amazing upon review.
I'm looking forward to our listeners getting a glimpse of this. I think Tony's going to put it on socials, and I think there'll be one clear winner. And there's a moment that happened in that podcast that I'm genuinely proud of, and the outfoxing of both yourself and Buzz is a big achievement from me.
I will say this: we gave the old fella Buzz a lot of different advantages. He picked players. We allowed him to change the club that he picked them for. We sort of allowed him to make changes on the fly. Yeah. I was also the last pick in the draft. James,
let's get stuck into the round preview.
Sorry,
our fans and listeners can get that on Sunday.
Morning, Sunday morning, it's out.
Storm against the Broncos. What a game to kick off the weekend. I'm genuinely excited about where this game goes. I'm close eye on Brisbane's performance. I don't know about the result is not important. Well, it is, but I want to see how Brisbane perform for the 80. They do play patchy stuff. Payne Haas back. No Wilson, big loss. I know he's young, but he makes a difference to that team. And the Storm, I think it's the test that they need as well. I think both sides are looking at this contest and going, we're in this one. Like a big game. Big game.
Harry Grant's 100th game for the Melbourne Storm. He obviously played 15 games for the West Tigers as well, but 100th game for the Melbourne Storm. You know what, though, about Harry Grant? Because I watched his press conference today for his 100 games. Mate, everyone's been talking about Jonah Pezzett, Cam Munster, Ryan Pappenhausen. Harry Grant's a November 1 guy. He's only signed to the end of 2026 at the Melbourne Storm. Because in this press conference, they're asking him these questions about his future, and I thought, that's weird. When's he signed to? So it's signed to the end of 2026. Like, how we're focusing on Jonah Pezzett when, in all due respect,
are you joking?
With Harry Grant's November 1 guy, yeah. So he's signed to the end of 2026. So he's got this year and next year. So November 1, he's available to sign with the clubs, and they asked him about rugby 360.
No options or anything? Like,
no options. He is signed until the end of 2026. Now, obviously, he loves the Melbourne Storm and loves playing there, and I'm sure they'll be doing everything in their power to keep him. But if we're going to talk about Jonah Pezzett, we've got to talk about Harry Grant as well, because that's a huge player that the Melbourne Storm need to lock down.
And in terms of like best in position players, like, you know, I think Cleary is the best 7, but not far behind him is Hughes and Munster. Sorry, Hughes and Moses. But from best hookers, like, there's Grant, and then
Daylight, if we're going to be fair.
Yeah. Like, with all due, like, and that's nothing against some of the other great hookers in our game, but he is like so far ahead.
Yeah, that's why he's $1 million player, and most other hookers aren't. Anywhere close to $1 million player.
Yeah, that's
the lowest paid position in the spine.
Yeah,
but you abandon a rule like that for Harry Grant, and you give him $1 million because of how talented he is. Like, they played the Roosters obviously 2 weeks ago. Munster already wasn't playing. Hughes goes down, and Harry Grant puts on
Paps as well.
No Pappenhausen as well. Harry Grant puts on a perfect performance, and wins them the game with some amazing dummy half play. Yeah, like, how we are not talking about Harry Grant being a November 1 guy.
That is bizarre.
Amazing.
On a slight tangent, I think maybe the dummy halves do need to get paid a little bit more. I find that surprising that they're not as well compensated as other spine members. But Harry Grant, oh my God, sign him up or start asking about what it'd take. Like, he is elite.
Yeah.
But I've got the Storm winning this one.
Yeah.
But I really looking forward to it. Great that we're going to be there, sample out atmosphere, get to see them live up close and personal.
Michael Maguire has barely beaten Craig Bellamy. He's got 1 win against Craig Bellamy his entire career. And the Melbourne Storm have only won 1 game against the Brisbane Broncos, against the Melbourne Storm of their last 17. So they are 1 win, 16 losses, the Broncos, against the Storm.
No, that can't be right. They beat them in finals.
Yeah, that's the only win.
No, but they beat them in the build-up to the finals as well.
No, they didn't. They lost.
They didn't.
No, they lost.
Did Brisbane rest their players?
Yeah, I think one of them rested players, but they won. So Melbourne won.
No, Brisbane beat them twice in 2023.
They didn't. I've done the research, and I can tell you categorically they didn't. So I think Brisbane might have rested their players going to finals. Melbourne beat them, and then in finals they lost.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Tony, can you confirm?
Okay, you go search it. It's their 1 win from 17. It was on NRL 360 on Tuesday night. I've done some research because I'm actually doing sideline for that game, so I've done a bit of research on it.
Are you sideline on Thursday?
Sideline on Thursday in Melbourne. So I've done my research, and that is 100% correct. Storm. Storm have beaten them 1 from 17.
Right,
1 win.
I stand corrected.
Yeah,
said the man in the orthopedic shoes.
So you've got the Storm winning again.
Yes.
Well done. All right.
I don't need well done.
No,
it's not been achieved yet.
Well done for your tip.
We'll review that on Monday.
All right. Friday, Knights, Panthers. Jacob Arthur's into the halves for the Newcastle Knights. Jack Cogger's in there as well. You know, if it's another halves combination for Newcastle, they're trying it all. They're rolling the dice. But yeah, on paper, it's a very one-sided matchup.
Yeah, and look, the Panthers, they nearly got themselves in a sticky predicament last time up against the Titans, a team lower down the table. But I just don't know if the Knights have the attack to score enough points to beat this Penrith team. I'd be shocked to see the Knights score more than 10 points.
No, Isaiah.
Yeah, but even so, I just Panthers will defend their way to victory. They'll be fine. No danger of an upset for me.
Knights obviously beat them, but it was during Origin the first time round. So
bit of the catalyst for the spark in Penrith revival.
Definitely. Then we go to the late game on Friday, the Canberra Raiders against the Manly Seagulls. We spoke about this before. Turbo's at fullback. The Raiders have the bye after this week, so they'll want to go in with a positive mindset. And
more so response.
Yeah.
Response, Charlie. Put aside the Dragons game. Response.
Is it time for them to re-sign Big Papa as well? He wants to stay around for another year. I think there's some issue why he can't go over to England. It's more of a family issue. He wants to stay here in Australia. Should they do the right thing and keep him for another year?
Look, you certainly don't want to see him play in other colours. And if he's motivated to stay, then yes.
And he's playing well.
He played Origin.
Exactly.
So, yes, keep him.
Have you got the Raiders winning?
I do, but I think it'll be tight.
Okay.
I think it'll be close. I think it's Canberra's home record is going to be enough to get them home. I think Manly go down, Tommy at fullback, knowing that their lifelines are running out. I think it'd be a really good game. This one, really good contest.
Sutherland Shire Derby, Jimmy. Your former
indeed.
club. You've played in a lot of these contests before. The Dragons are starting to show signs that they're competing. I mean, they're finishing this season positively. It really is a year of what could have been for the Dragons. Those close losses, if they turn them into wins, they would be well and truly in the hunt for the top 8.
Yeah, they sure wouldn't. Obviously, you just can't go past Coach Flanagan. He'll be extra motivated. I know it's been a number of years now, but that will still burn. But the Sharks, this is always one of those funny things. These games, this time of year, when you say this phrase, they're playing for something. And how many times, when you've got something to play for, like the top 4, teams just fall in a heap, whether it's pressure of knowing that results are consequential. So a lot of teams can't manage that pressure, especially when you come up against under-strength opposition that you're supposed to get the win. Everything points to a comfy Sharks win. Everything. But with the Dragons and that victory against the Raiders, I'm nervous for the Sharks. I'm going to back them, but God, I'm nervous.
Dolphins, Roosters then match the round.
Yeah, Roosters for me. I think the loss of Herbie Farnworth is huge. They're a team that, again, in that predicament, it's a must win. But they're a team that can handle that pressure. I think that camp coming back from that, the way they went after Manly, I think the Dolphins, big travel, and the injury to Farnworth. Geez, they've lost some players, but Herbie is everything to them.
Such a big loss. Dolphins, Bunnies, Warriors, just crippled by injuries this year. It sucks for the game, and it always happens this time of year where a couple of teams get injuries that they end up probably still making the 8, like the Warriors, but they're just not going to be competitive. Like the Warriors fully fit would have been awesome.
Mate, you'd love to see it. The Warriors fully fit are a top 4 side. Well,
yeah,
no,
they are.
The Warriors fully fit would have been a top 4 side.
Exactly. And the Dolphins fully fit, they probably would have been competing for a top 4. Like all those injuries they've had throughout the year, like it's just.
And you even think about like the Warriors run home. And with some of the shock losses that they've had, they're likely not just top 4, top 2, home ground advantage. Like this is the difference. Imagine that Raiders and Warriors top 1 and 2, like what that does for the strength of competition, the strength of their chances. It's huge.
It's huge. And you think about this next game then, Bulldogs Warriors Saturday night at Accor Stadium. If the Warriors were flying, geez, they would have had 60,000 people there for sure. There's an injury cloud over Lachlan Gavin. We expect him to play, but it's not confirmed obviously yet. But again, Warriors, more injuries. Jacob Laban done for the season. Wade Egan missed last week with concussion, but now he's done his shoulder. He's out. Like, it's just cruel. But Chanel Harris-Tavita's back for the Warriors.
Yeah, look, Warriors come to Sydney again. It's a different attitude of just, okay, we've got nothing to lose against a Dogs team that needs to respond. Like, they'll be pissed off with that against the Tigers. Like, really, really annoyed, and rightly so.
Panic stations, though, if they lose for the Dogs.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far, but
I'd give it panic stations.
Okay, well, Dogs for me.
James Fisher-Harris in the extended squad, small chance of returning. I don't know if they just don't have 30 players anymore, the Warriors. They got to name people there, but hopefully he's back. Titans Bunnies Spoon Bowl. It really is, Jimmy.
Oh God!
I think the Titans should be huge favourites, by the way. But if the Bunnies lose this, they're in a world of hurt, mate.
Oh yeah. Cheese back, Latrell maybe. Oh God, you just can't, mate. What could this game throw up? Well, one thing, Souths are going to compete, like they've shown that, and that's why slightly Souths, because I think they've got the better defence.
Okay, well, guess what? The favourites are in Ladbrokes.
Souths?
No, the Gold Coast Titans $1.49.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that's just due to the injuries. Obviously, if Latrell Mitchell's in, that changes everything. I just can't wait to see Brandon Smith back playing footy.
Yeah.
The first game, it obviously didn't go according to plan. He had the injury. I mean, it was heartbreaking, but I just can't. I hope he goes well.
Yeah, me too.
Hope he goes well.
Obviously, our thoughts are with him, and hopefully he gets in a good performance and gets through the game.
You tipped the Bunnies, didn't you?
I did.
All right. Sunday Arvo, Eels Cowboys. This will be a really good game. Like, it's two teams struggling towards the bottom. I reckon this will be a really good game. I think
two teams in it. Like, one of the few occasions where neither team has much to play for.
Well, they're trying to avoid the spoon.
Well, avoid the spoon, bit of pride. Yeah. I think the Eels, for me, they look the better of the two.
They're flying. They're not flying.
No.
But they're showing signs, Jim.
They are.
They're showing signs. You're flying, though, my friend.
To Melbourne
tomorrow,
in
right
about
now.
24 hours.
Yeah.
All right, Charlie, been great to sit and chat with you. Again, please like, subscribe, all that jazz. We do appreciate you, and we'll catch you next week.